You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive.
What's up, Angry Designers? Welcome back to part 2 of the 25 years Z Factor reign. Our experiences, what it took to take us this time, how to take us this far, and again, how to actually embrace some of these tips for you guys and use them for yourselves. We're going to cover some topics like highs and lows of the past 25 years, some of the biggest changes in the industry over the past 25 years, how it's changed from one extreme to the other, and of course, we're going to leave off with, our top 10 or 11-ish tips or learning lessons that we, Z Factor, would provide to everybody else, whether you're an agency or anybody else. So sit back, grab yourself a drink, whether it's bourbon or milk, doesn't matter, and enjoy. Another challenge that I think I was going through, and even up until maybe 5-6 years ago, is this whole, I always felt like I needed a partner. Oh. And again, and because of it, it's like everybody wants to be your partner when they got nothing else to fucking lose.
That's right.
Oh, look at you got a great business, a brand, customers. I'll be your partner. Yeah. I bring so much experience. I don't have any money, and I'm gonna need a paycheck right away, a big one. But I can be, and I'll help you grow. We'll do this. And this was a constant ongoing theme, and it's just like I wanted it so bad. And the final one, which you knew, we tried the other startup. And I totally got royally screwed on that. And I think it was after that, I was just like, fuck this. I'm doing this. I came to the conclusion.
Yeah.
Don't need anybody else.
Nobody's going to help you.
Yeah.
They're going to help themselves.
Yes.
Basically, right?
And that's exactly it. So
don't bother.
Yeah.
But again, this is a lesson.
And it was fine.
It's hard learned, but it's a good thing.
And the best, and again, the most growth was when I accepted that fact.
That's
and
right.
I was like, you know what? No, I don't need a partner.
Yeah.
Right. We'll run this on our own. I've got an awesome team. And that's where I was like, I changed my focus more on the team as opposed to trying to find someone else to help me run shit.
Exactly.
So, because that really never worked out. Maybe for the better. Maybe I'm more difficult to deal with than I thought. I don't know.
No, I don't think that's what it is.
Other challenges, no doubt, early on challenges. I always knew that this is the agency I wanted, right? But when you're young and you see everybody else going out and partying and having fun, right? It's that whole sacrifice that we talked about with James, right? Made by James Martin. Yeah. That it's like you had to consciously make these sacrifices, right? And you knew, like, all my friends would be going out partying, found a new club or going to a new place or a new vacation. I was like, no, dudes, I'm growing my business. I've got it's Saturday night. I'm sorry, I got to go work. I've got a big job I got to do, and they're like,
and all your friends are like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
They would outright make fun. I'm at a computer working. And I'm just like, you guys are assholes for even doing that. Fuck you. Right? But then again, here's the same. They weren't really friends, because then it's like when I finally upgraded and got a BMW, they're like, look at us. I'm so cool. I drive a BMW. And it's just like, wow.
He's still ragging on you.
Right? But again, it's like it's unbelievable. Like, you have to be prepared to sacrifice this shit.
You totally do.
And I was okay with it.
Yep.
Apparently other people weren't, but I was okay with it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I don't know, not to, this isn't bragging, but I don't know anybody my age that can be like, I've had a business for 25 fucking years.
Yeah.
Right? It's like people are like, oh, you do what? You have a design firm? Oh, that's cool.
Oh, nice.
When'd you start that? Right? Do you have any employees? Right? But the funny thing is, did you just start that? Do you work from home? And I'm like, no, we're 25 years in business. And when I got employees. I'm not by myself. And they're like, holy shit. You're big time. And it's just like, why would you think I'm not?
Yeah.
And again, maybe it's the age thing, right? Like,
but here's the thing too. It's like we mentioned this back in the earlier part of this podcast, Media Focus and Bright House and all these agencies. Where are they now?
Well, that was it, right? Like,
they're gone.
They're gone.
Yes.
They are gone. Of that list of like 34 agencies, there's only one. No,
what? Two
that still exists. One, though, is like behind this wall. You don't even know what they do back there.
One is huge, yeah.
And the other one that's huge isn't even huge anymore.
Oh, they're not.
They have downsized to like they're our size. They've downsized. Yeah. Oh,
Holy shit.
I know. So that's what I mean. Like, we've managed to ride this out. Wow. You know, we have continually evolved where a lot of them didn't, right? And a lot of them, and so it I mean, that was a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, we jumped from all print to, you know, we embraced digital when it happened, right? We took that next step.
Yeah.
Like, there's
But that's the thing, is being aware of that kind of stuff and
have to.
and pivoting when you need to.
Yeah.
And maybe some of these, and I will guarantee that some of those agencies did not do that. When
No,
they were,
absolutely
it's just
not.
Like, and we even know of one in this unit that somehow manages to do this without doing any web
stuff, right? She's still going strong.
and good for you.
Yep,
if you
absolutely.
and obviously, I think she's doing well doing that sort of stuff.
So
But
it's finally, in the past 2 years, she has finally embraced web. Yeah.
No.
So she's doing, 100%, right?
So that's awesome.
So yeah, and I mean, good for her, because I was flat out said, I'm worried, dude.
Yeah,
I'm worried
you
for
really
you
have
because
to.
you really need this. Plus, and then I was like, plus, you're missing a huge revenue
I was
stream.
just
How-
gonna say that's a huge market
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
tapping into,
and
right?
she is, and they have, so that's good.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
did that
no,
happen? Was this like?
No, it was like literally just as everybody was coming out of COVID and business started up again, and then I was like, okay, well, you've made it through COVID.
Yeah.
Now let's talk.
Yeah. Let's get
And
this.
and it was, and for a little while, I mean, we had the opportunity to work together, but in the end, I think you know, they brought it in house, which is the best thing anyway.
Yes, that's
right.
smart.
Because again, then they would just be like, it's not the kind of work we wanted to do anyway. That would have been just helping out in the short term, right?
They had like a comparable staff to what we have, right?
They did.
They did. No,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure they
No,
didn't
not
survive
at
that
all.
in
Yeah.
COVID. Which again, here we go. We got a 2-year fucking pandemic, and we're still hiring.
Oh, dude, yeah, that was great for me. Yeah, for
This
us,
is the
it was
thing.
good.
We
It was-
managed to make that work because of the space that we're in.
the space that we're in, we had a good niche, we had an expertise, and then we were able to ramp up as we had to. We were able to, you know, get in there and just grow.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, which is great. Like, and that's the thing. That's the thing with the niching, with the tech side of things. Tech is always going to be with us. I believe
It is. And then again, we were, you know, not only were we tech, but then we really focused on the broadband space.
And in the broadband space,
which
exactly.
we all know during COVID times, that kind of shot through the roof,
Big
right?
time,
So
big
again, it worked. And again, it still is, even now with the
Well,
recession.
this is the
that's
thing.
that's the looming recession that's coming over top of everybody.
Yeah, and then
this
the
is still
US,
a strong space.
The U.S. is earmarking billions of dollars
Yep.
to put broadband to everyone. in the
Everybody,
US,
right? So again,
which-
so for the next 10 years, yeah.
all the broadband companies are going, Jesus.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
this is
So
what we
again,
want."
good. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
We're in the right place.
We are really in the
Yeah.
right place. Yeah.
And I think the last challenge, which
Mm-hmm.
is something that we still struggle with today, being the fucking underdog. Always.
How is that a struggle?
It's a challenge. It's always been a
it?
challenge because, I mean, to be the underdog, you're always kind of given, you know, scraps. You're always having to fight a little harder, get scrappier, get more creative, right? And again, this experience that we've gone through, you know, recently with some of our existing customers has always been.
Yeah.
You know, there's always been bigger agencies in town.
Yes,
There's always been
yes,
better agencies because we were quirky. We were always a little different. And this hasn't been prior to the whole tech scene happening here. This was not a very edgy, cool town. It was kind of fucking boring, right? And it really was. The
as
tech scene really
square
did
as you come.
change.
Yeah, yeah.
So damn square, right? Back when we used to be called Berlin next
Yeah,
door.
that's right. Yes.
No, it was so again, we were always having to position ourselves differently than everybody. We were always an underdog. And it got to the point where, you know, when we pitched ourselves as, you know, we're different than these guys by doing this. We're different than these guys.
Right.
And we're just as good as that giant companies that you can spend 250 grand for.
Yep.
But we're smaller, more agile, and you only have to spend 100 grand with
Right.
us.
That's right.
And we would intentionally play on that whole underdog.
They're good,
fucking
but they're
great.
not. But they're not cheap.
Yeah, and that was it.
That's what you want. That's what you want to
you
hear,
know
right?
what? And that's what I always said. We are able to produce the exact same quality work they can.
Yes.
You just don't have to
You
pay
just don't
for
have to
all
pay-
the fluff and overhead
Exactly.
and, you know, the exuberant, you know, team fees and 20 people on a meeting, every meeting, every week, you know, plus focus groups and this.
Yes,
We don't need that
exactly.
shit,
With
do
that
you?
other fucking agency that we deal with,
Yeah,
man, oh
yeah.
man, do they ever put the screws to our client, right?
Oh,
Like,
jeez, yeah. So it's like, you know, I enjoy being the underdog.
Yes.
And I think
it's great.
it has worked well for us, right?
Yes.
It's completely worked well for us.
Yes, exactly. Because exactly like you said with BlackBerry, I think that was probably one of the best examples of that is you go in, find that space that needs help, and then work with that. And so one team goes, how did that happen? How did you do this?
Right.
These guys did this. Oh, I'm going to reach out to these guys. You know what I mean? Like, and it spreads out.
Yeah.
Would you say it was like 12 different segments of BlackBerry that you were working with at the time?
12 different departments, right?
That's awesome.
And it was funny.
Same
And I
thing with
remember,
Telus.
it's just, and again, it was a matter of just kind of trying to dig in and find out how to help
right.
solve their problems,
That's
right?
And not focusing on the big picture or the bigger stuff that's already taken care of.
Yep.
Why would you even worry about that?
Yeah,
right?
exactly, right?
Like if that's already done. I'm not gonna.
Fun. It was fun.
It would be nice.
Yeah,
if you
fine.
could be the main advertising unit for BlackBerry, but
But you know what the thing is? It's like I don't like that. The reason why I didn't like that, right, is the B2C side of this whole space, is very critical,
Yes.
right? Those agencies are always under scrutiny on
Yes.
if their campaign didn't achieve,
Then you're
didn't
like-
do.
yeah.
You're always under magnifying glass.
That's
where
right.
when you're doing the B2B stuff,
Right.
you're a lot more tactile.
Yes.
You're a lot more grittier, right? You float under the radar,
Yes.
right? And it's like it's not like if a brochure or a sales sheet or something doesn't go as great as it should.
Yeah.
Well, you're not under scrutiny, right? It's like the
right.
internal
It's like-
teams or this. It's a lot different vibe, and I love that. It
Yeah, you're
allowed us to actually build a creative agency, but in not the same kind of stressful environments,
Yes.
right? So I think I think it played well for us. That's why I was just like, I don't care if you have another agency doing your B2C stuff.
we've never been.
I want your B2B stuff. And that's something different that those guys can't do. And people are like, you're right.
Yes, and that's the thing is some of those major
They didn't want it.
they didn't even want that in the first place.
Exactly.
It's like, ugh, yeah,
Exactly.
I'm not doing that
and we
petty shit.
And we've lasted 25 years by doing
Yes,
that, right?
exactly.
So we were happy to take the scraps. It's
Yes,
just like
that's right.
just give them to me.
But that's the thing is you take the scraps and you make what's that saying? You making a silk purse out of a sow's ear or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that, right?
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
yep,
like
absolutely.
that's exactly what we do. We get the shit stuff, but fuck, man, does it ever look good?
We
when
make
it's
it work.
We do. We make it work.
Yeah. The past 25 years.
Yeah.
So this is what I think it's cool. Like we're kind of in this. I think right now the times that we are dealing with right now are equally as exciting as the past 25 years. And what I mean by that is right now there's so much AI in this. There's so much question, right? I think what the next 25 years in our industry is going to be so fucking groundbreaking, just like the past 25. Like when we started to now. We have gone through so much. Okay, so it's not those challenges that we've talked about, but we're having to go through. There were so many big challenges just to survive, and this is why I think those other 30 plus agencies disappeared. Right. So the first big, most obvious challenge, of course, in the past 25 years, a disruptor, the biggest disruptor for most agencies, is going from all print to all digital.
Right.
Like it fucking, the industry swung so fast.
Yeah.
Right. Because all of a sudden, everything was print, which was why, we love print so much. We have a soft spot for it because that's where we started.
That's exactly it.
Right.
Yes,
But then it just switched and it's just like, it all changed to the interwebs, right? and again, companies weren't able to even, keep up at the beginning stages, let alone as it went on further and further and further, right?
Exactly.
Like if they didn't jump on the web early on, they wouldn't have understood what a content management system was. They wouldn't have understood databases, right? And again, you wait too long, well, fuck, throw, social media into mix, you're screwed.
You're done. Yeah,
right? A lot of agencies initially had no idea how to fucking comprehend that, right?
Yeah.
So the past 25 years, that was monumental in this space, right? Again, you used to work for a daily newspaper.
Yeah. Yes.
And
yes.
I remember that daily newspaper used to be like 2
It
pounds
was
thick.
huge.
It was now I don't even know what it is. I think it's just flyers that come to our door.
You're right. It is.
Like it is. It's pretty bad, right?
They all work from home.
Yep.
There's
And
no there's no
that's what I
building
mean,
anymore.
right?
I know.
Incredible
Which
how
is
that
which is
happens.
it. But this is the kind of thing, and I'm gonna guess that half of these agencies went, fuck the internet. It's not gonna be a thing. I don't care. We'll survive on print. You know what I mean?
Yep. Exactly.
And that's the where you make the mistake.
Absolutely. They made so many, and they didn't
Instead of embracing
evolve,
it,
right?
or even exploring it
Yes.
at the very least.
I know. We jumped on that immediately.
Yes,
as
you did.
soon as we could, and we were like, let's just figure out how to do it different than
Exactly.
because everybody else at that time, when we did it, when we jumped, everybody else who was creating websites, they were all like programmers. So early websites were atrocious. Where we took what we learned how to do offline and we put it online.
Yes.
And that was why right out of the gates, that put us ahead of everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So that, anyway, going from, print to digital, or our CMYK to RGB, that was a huge thing.
Previous podcast.
Jeez, people are still touchy about that one, eh?
I know.
Another thing, big disruptor, right?
Yeah.
Logo designs, like logo design companies like 99 Designs and Fiverr and all that shit, right?
Yep.
Like that all came in, and it seemed like for a little while it was a race to zero.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That happened in the past 25 years, right? All of a sudden, the world just opened up with this digital, and then you started seeing all these, and everybody was like, well, what the hell, right? Like, it devalued logos for a little while. It brought down the price.
It devalued designers.
Absolutely, it did.
I saw this one post.
Absolutely, it did.
This one post that said, "I could teach you how to be a designer in 5 minutes."
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck you.
Fuck you, you can.
You know the hell you will.
Well, and I'm still reading that shit, right?
I know.
But it's just like it's this whole offshore idea. When that happened early on, right? That was another disruptor, right? Offshoring, right? Everybody heard offshore and they're like, "Oh my god, now I can get a logo. It wouldn't charge me $3,000. I can get it for $5.
$5
on Fiverr."
Right.
And it was horrible, right? But that was a huge thing that again put a lot of people, because they didn't know how to deal with it.
Right.
They didn't know how to compete. They didn't know how to sell against it, right?
Yeah.
And for a little while, people were only looking at that final product, right? But I mean, again, wrong way to look at it, right? Because if you're looking at just the end result, well, you can't sell that. You can't. It's hard to put a value on that.
Yeah, totally.
It's how it gets to there that's where the value is, right?
Yes.
But again, sites like 99 Designs or Fiverr, like that really, really hurt the industry in the past 25 years.
Totally.
But again, it made it work. And same with offshoring, right? Like a lot of companies didn't know how to handle that, right? And they thought they were in competition, right? But we embraced it right away. We were like, you know what? If this is what's happening right now, let me find a team offshore and have them work with us and help us. And we did experiment with that, right?
Totally.
I can't say it worked 100% always, but we did create some incredible partnerships that did help us over the years, help us with big projects, ongoing. And, we still have those relationships in place.
Yes.
In fact, we still use like 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Ongoing on a regular basis. And this goes back 15 years ago, right? So again, offshoring was a big thing. Another big thing over the past 25 years, stock photography. Honestly, when we started, your options were take your camera and go shoot stuff.
Yes.
Pay a fortune to have it printed in 8 by 10s and then scan it in your scanner. That's how this was the process. You needed a picture of a building, you needed a picture of a bridge, you would go do that. And again, everything looks so shitty because you weren't always a good photographer, and even the people who said they could, no, right? I remember sometimes you'd take the day off of work and you'd go around and just shoot textures. You'd go around and shoot carpet tile. You'd shoot a close up of a bridge that's all gritty and the bowls, right? Pebbles, water, whatever, asphalt, and then you would build up this and you would create your own, library of digitized, because it was so expensive to do that, right? Then you could buy a scanner and start building it yourself, right? And then came Photodisc. Do you remember?
I remember.
So again, you would actually spend $300, $400, $500 on a CD with 100 images on it. And they were very, very nice quality images.
They were great.
For a little while, you'd see them everywhere. On cat food, then you'd see them in an insurance company, and then you'd see it, like on a billboard. And they were all for these different rents because it was so expensive.
Exactly.
But again, Photodisc was massive.
It's huge.
And I had a Photodisc library of like 25, 30 CDs. Like we had like,
really?
we had like 20 grand worth of just Photodisc CDs. And then, and it was crazy to think that that's how you used to get higher quality. So it went from you shooting it yourself and digitizing yourself to buying these discs with all these images on it already done.
Clipped out some of them.
Clipped out on white.
Was great.
Oh, it was fantastic, right? It was funny because I remember that's what really defined so many. It felt like you were just like at another level when that shit came up,
totally.
right?
And it was so inspiring at the time. I remember because this was the kind of thing that you didn't have access to that at that time, right? And you're just like, holy shit, this is great. I can throw this into.
Oh, it was great. And then of course from there came like online stock photography, right? When the webs came up and the speeds became a little bit more accessible, but like. Wow, designers now have no idea how hard it was
difficult
to get a good image.
Yes.
Fuck, now you don't even have to buy a real image. You can AI create it yourself.
This is true. You can totally do that. Or there's so many free options where you can just download stuff if you want. You know
but again, incredible how far in the past 25 years that's come.
I know.
Right? Like, again, that fonts. So
this is
25 years ago.
I don't know whether this is a good thing.
Well, fair enough. No, it's not. But it's like your computer only had like 12 fonts installed. That was it. The system fonts, the Mac system fonts. Then you would have to buy discs, CDs with like a library of another 100 fonts. And then you'd have the old Western font. You'd have like the beach font, and it was just ridiculous. You would double click and download them one at a time because this was just something so crazy and cool back then.
Exactly. And then you'd find a way to fit it in whatever you were working on.
Right. You would use that Western font. You'd somehow use that in a bridal ad, okay? You would. Oh, shit. But I mean, now it's like there's millions of fonts anywhere. There's a font somewhere. Okay, maybe not millions, but there's a font for virtually everything right now. And now you have the ability to make your own fonts. And oddly, now that there's all these fonts out there, I'm telling people to go back and pare it down to only like a basic 6.
What does Vanilla say?
Vanilla, I think it was 6 or 7 fonts.
That's all you really need. And he's fucking right. I mean, I can't even debate that. It's just like
I know. But it is funny how far fonts have come in the past 25 years.
Insane.
Right? Okay, this is one. Ready? Accessibility to design. Okay, and what I mean by this is before the internet was to what it is now. How did you get inspiration for work?
Oh, yes. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So back then, and this was me. Yes.
Yeah.
I was just going to say Chapters, which is, I guess, the Canadian version of Indigo. Right.
Yep.
Had like the biggest magazine section. Right. And you would go there on a weekly basis. Right. The first thing, you're right. You'd go to design. You'd pick up Communication Arts, Pink, print magazine, right? Designer magazine, graphic designer. You would leaf through all these. This would be your routine, right? You would go
porn for me.
It was. I loved fucking magazine. This is how I learned about David Carson, right? Because again, I didn't know who he was, but I knew who his work was back then because Raygun, right? Because again, I was into skateboarding, BMXing. That was the whole culture I grew up in. So I'd always gravitate to that look and feel. And the surf magazines, still have some of those. So again, that's how you would look through that. You'd get your ideas for ads by going through those. And I mean, it was great that Chapters back then allowed you to. You read.
They had like sitting areas where you could just
pick up magazines,
pick up that Communication Arts, and just kind of read it. Yeah,
and that's how you used to get inspiration. You had a big project, and you're like, well, where do we start? Well, let's go to Chapters.
Let's go there. Yeah,
right. Some people were like, oh no, I find inspiration through the environment or through going for a walk. I'm like, okay, well, I don't want everything to look like a tree, so I'm going to go check out what other designers are doing. Right. So it was so fun. And honestly, it just, even now I think about it and my heart just races, remembering flipping through these magazines, right? Going through them. A new magazine would come out, right? You'd wait for them, or heaven forbid, if you bought them, because the design magazines were all like $30.
They were really expensive. You really had to commit if you were interested. There was stuff that I would just like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I'm going to shell out this $30 for this because I want to just keep looking at it.
But it actually won me a lot of points because I would take dates there. Right? You'd
Really?
take dates there, and then, we'd go to Chapters for dates, and you'd have coffee, you'd chat,
yeah.
right? I'd go through the magazines, right? And then all of a sudden, I would forget about the date, and I'd be like, oh, it's design. It says, so all of a sudden, you give them the cold shoulder, and they're like, look at me, look at me. And then it's like, and then all of a sudden, you're shelling out $30 on a magazine, and they're like, wow, this guy's, he must be rich. I was poor as fuck.
Exactly.
But it was for a project, so I could justify it. It all seemed to work.
Yes, exactly.
Man, I had a lot of dates at Starbucks or at Chapters.
Totally. It's funny because that student that we've had in here, the intern that you love so much, I was looking through that book that he was.
Yeah.
That drawing book.
The comic book.
The comic book.
Yeah, comic drawing. Do you like that?
And it was just, oh, dude, that was.
I've got like a whole bunch of those.
Really?
Well, because again, I and those were probably back from 20 years ago. I look at the date on that one.
I was just going to say.
I got so many of these old drawing books. How to draw comics, how to draw comic book characters, superheroes.
Perspective.
All that, right? It's great. And again,
stuff.
I used to always buy it. Like I started buying books right from the get-go.
Yes.
And I always had them. And again, I got a lot of those at home.
Those are
It's fun, right?
I was leafing through that and I'm like, oh my God.
If you could do the shit in that book, dude, you would be a fantastic illustrator.
That would be so cool, right?
Yep,
and I'm just like
absolutely.
looking at that and I'm like, oh man, this would be great to do to do this kind of stuff. But yeah, like but that again is a source of great inspiration for us as
Absolutely, right?
That and there's something so awesome about having a book in your hand.
I
Do you
know,
what I mean? Like,
I know,
it's great.
right?
And I think we've kind of lost that. And some of the designers that we've interviewed in the last couple of podcasts, Peters and James, they're drawing their logos and stuff like that.
Right?
And it's like, wow, that's
I know, right? It's
kind
kinda-
of such a great.
It feels
organic,
so, and honestly, that the pencil to paper feeling
just is
brings it back. I've been using a
what we used
pencil
to do.
again, and it feels so great, like a pencil. Not even a pen, not ink, right? A pencil. And I'm doing my notes, sketch. It just feels so nice again,
it's
right?
just good. It's good.
Yeah. It's definitely worth it. But it was a cool experience that now accessibility to design. I mean, now a Google search will get you every designer from the beginning of time.
That's right.
Until examples of their work in high res for inspiration. So again, it's not that it's better or worse, but it was just a very different, how it evolved over the past 25 years, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that evolved is the accessibility to learning, right? Because again, 25 years ago, your options as a graphic designer was either school, right? Or through
Talk
these
to somebody
magazines,
else.
just
Or,
trial error and build it out yourself, right?
Yeah.
And again, nobody was sharing, nobody was helping,
Yeah, you're
right?
right, that's true.
It was everybody just seemed like they were so tight and
Yes.
didn't want you to succeed.
Yeah, they didn't want you to know their secrets.
As though there was only like 5 customers in the fucking world. Where now it's like you can go on YouTube to learn. Right. You can go on all these sites at Udemy. Like it never ends.
Yeah.
Right. So how far that has come over the past 25 years.
Totally. If we had a couple of old bearded dudes telling us how to do this when we were young, wouldn't that be awesome?
It would be really cool.
Oh, geez, that would be so good. But yeah, you're right. There's so much available to anybody if you're willing to look for it. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't have that.
Another thing that came crazy far the past 25 years, the community. Like the design community. And I have to say that like 25 years ago, designers, they were so closed off. They didn't want to share secrets unless you worked in a team.
Yes.
Right. And then you were kind of growing with each other's abilities. That's great. But other than that, it's like everybody was a lone wolf and learning on their own, fending for themselves. Right. It's really kind of shitty. Where now it's like everybody is so positive.
Yes.
They want to help each other. They want to show each other how to do like that's really fucking cool.
That's awesome.
You guys have it so good right now, right?
Really, really it is true. This is and maybe this is the glory days of design.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. Like it's hard to say what AI is gonna dictate for us, but
fair enough.
I mean, right now it just seems like a great spot to be in, right?
Yep. And ultimately the biggest disruptor, obviously, over the past 25 years in design, social media. right? Because again, early on, social media was, very basic, rudimentary. MySpace, I think, was the start. Actually, that was, I think, the first before Facebook, right?
You're right.
And I mean, now it's like you can get on Pinterest and get ideas. You can hook up with people on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can watch people on YouTube, like
Dribbble.
social media, Dribbble. Like social media is huge. I think it's probably the biggest change in this space, which basically encompasses everything on this list, from images to inspiration to community. And again, that was at the tail end of this whole 25-year span of what it was from then till now. So it's crazy to think. I can see why a lot of companies didn't make it through, because there was a lot of hurdles. It was constantly, right?
There was a lot thrown at us at the beginning of the
there was
in the aughts, I guess.
Totally. Oh my God.
So it's surprising and not surprising in the same kind of breath that some agencies didn't make it, but others kind of thrived, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's that pivot, I think, is the key.
Well, and we keep telling everybody, one of the most important things is to constantly be willing, keep curious, be willing to take on new work, new ideas, keep trying new things.
Yes.
You can't just give up. And so as soon as you become complacent, you're dead in this space. You are done.
Yes. An interesting story. My wife is telling me she just got a promotion.
Yep.
So she was like, woo. So she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this kind of thing. And it's like, Moss and I always talk about this. He always tells me this. He's like, if I'm talking to a new client on Friday, I will be an expert by Monday.
Yeah. If I don't know what you need to know
if I
Friday,
don't know what it is, I'm going to figure it out.
Yeah. I'll let you know. And there's no shame in that.
There's no, but I think this is the age that we're at that gives you that spark to do that. Like as a kid, maybe you're not as keen to do that. I think you would learn.
Yeah, no. I don't think it's even. I mean, the ability to pick up stuff a lot quicker. Right? There's no doubt.
This is true.
I think that they might have issues with focusing.
Yeah,
but it's true. It's like, and I flat out will tell customers even now. I don't have the answer for you,
but I will.
But I will on Monday.
Exactly.
Leave this with me for 48 hours. I'll have everything, and it's true.
I will. Yeah, I will know this. Yeah, and
I don't know. I don't know what your site's built on right now.
Yeah,
give us 48 hours. I'll tell you everything that's wrong with it on Monday.
That's
right?
exactly it, and that's that adaptability that I think is key to being in this space and successfully being in this space, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't be scared to pick up new skills, right? That's what keeps this fun and exciting.
But this is what's good about it.
I know, dude. I know, right?
It's like sometimes, I'm talking to clients and things like, well, we don't know how we're going to do this. And it's like,
yeah, exactly it, right?
Okay.
All right.
Just give me some time. I will figure this out. You know what I mean? But also there's like a, ooh.
Sean just had a moment.
Yes, you feel it move a little. You know what I mean?
I think it just moved. That was me in the magazine aisle at Chapters all the time. That's why I would always sit cross-legged. Awkward.
Oh, David Carson. No. But yeah, that's what gives us. Our inspiration for doing this.
Totally true, right?
It's the challenge of it. Who would want to do the same thing over and over and over?
I know,
again?
right? How boring would that fucking be?
Suck.
Well, not designers anyway, not creatives. I think for creatives, that'd be the death of us.
Yeah, it would. It really would be. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Cool. So, memorable moments that I can share.
Good.
Over the past, 25 years, right?
Hiring Sean.
Yeah.
Number one.
Worst decision ever.
God, I wish I'd done that.
There's been a million, but again, about the agency side, some of the stuff that felt like it was huge, monumental.
Yes.
Right? Like huge for agency stuff, right? Our first office. Over top of the oil shop.
I love that.
So, no, and the funny thing is, you saw the full office, but the first office was actually small. It was 300 square feet.
Oh my God.
It consisted of 2 tiny offices and a little vestibule that was, honestly, the size of half this office. It was this individual little, our podcast room. Like, it was so small. It was 300 square feet, but it was mine.
It was awesome.
And I was like, and that's how we started.
Yes.
Right. And it was so cool. We felt so grown up. And there's 3 of us crammed in this tiny spot. But it was a huge upgrade from my parents' basement.
Yes, big time.
Right? Because that's where it started, right?
Started.
So that was a memorable moment.
Yes.
Okay. Another memorable moment is when we grew so fast out of that little office that we basically rented the office next to us, which was 3 times the size.
That's because it was down the hallway.
Right? And we cut open a hole between the two. All of a sudden, it was like you knock down the wall, it falls, and you're like, yeah. And it was like you'd see the dust going up, and you're just like, we fucking arrived. Like, that was massive, dude. It was massive.
That's awesome.
I remember that, and it was just so fucking
How big
cool.
was that space
In
altogether?
total, altogether with both sides,
Yeah.
it was under 1,000 square feet.
Under 1,000. So
Yeah,
it was
well
I
under.
don't remember it being huge.
No, it wasn't. It was
Was that
just
the whole top floor
no,
of that?
no, because
there was
beside
other
us there was
things.
the driver training center. Below us, the oil change shop. It was
Yes.
the most random location. And I drove past it a couple weeks ago to my kids. I'm like, look up there.
Yeah, right there.
That's where Z Factor started. That used to be Dad's office.
Yeah.
And they're like,
What?
on top of an oil shop? It's like, fuck yeah. It was so great, though, to remember that
it was
shit, right?
awesome, yeah.
And again, we would work all day, and because we were all young and in 20-somethings, we would hang out at night. We would, drink. We would like have music. We would smoke in there because that's what you would do.
That's what you would do.
Right? It was just cool.
Oh, what's that bar that's on the other side? Was that there all that time?
Oh, Morty's.
Morty's.
Remember? And
you
they
would go to
moved
Morty's.
They moved the other side.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And then, of course, a big memory was when we then outgrew that and went to the first garage.
The first.
Which
Wait,
was the.
There's 2 garages?
No, this is technically the garage.
Oh, this is a garage.
This is. It just doesn't have the garage door. So
yes,
we
okay.
upgraded from that little office, which we rented,
Yeah.
to then we worked and saved up enough and actually had the garage.
You rented above the oil shop.
Yeah.
Oh, you did.
And then we
You didn't buy
actually
it. Okay.
and then we bought the garage, right?
Right.
The unit, and
Yeah.
decked it out and
That must have
built
been
that place.
awesome.
It was so much fun because I
Yes.
built that with my dad,
Yes.
right? He helped, and my uncle came and helped with the drywall. And I remember like sitting there, working all day and then going there at night and building.
building it,
and
yes.
It's just so awesome. That was good.
Man, that's great.
And then of course this space.
Yes.
It's funny because the big memories, it just seems like every time we'd upgrade spaces, it was like a new company all over again.
Yes.
So I remember getting to this, and this was like both good and bad because when we got here, everybody was fighting that day, and there was like internal like fights with some of the team members. Oh,
Really?
it was a mess. We were going through some like, again, because I didn't know how to manage people, and it was just, I was like, guys, I just want to design and have fun. Why are you
Why
guys
is this
being
an issue?
babies? Fuck yeah. But I mean, again, the space was so beautiful. It was so cool.
Yeah.
This was that next level place. And this literally was the next, we had big customers. And another big memory was when we got our first $1 billion customer. Right. And again, that was like mind blowing.
Yes.
Okay.
Huge.
But even more mind blowing was when we got our second, because, and again, that was like a whole holy shit.
Yeah.
We just proved that we could do it again.
Yes.
Right. It wasn't by luck.
Yeah.
And we're good enough, and we get a second one,
done it
right?
again,
And
yeah.
again, it was like literally, it was such a big accomplishment because it just meant that now we had a process and we were being able to repeat, and now we've got a few, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And again, but that was the ultimate goal.
Yes.
Right. Because again, everybody was like, how did they view success? Right. And for me, I guess throughout this whole process is, because success is very personal.
Yes.
Right. But I mean, when you're competing with all these companies locally that are all B2C companies and they brag and great places and look at us because it's also very showy. Right. For me, it was just like, no, when we get $1 billion company as a B2B, agency, that's huge.
Yes,
and then when
massive.
you're able to replicate that
Yeah, do it
again and
again.
again, like it was just, that felt massive,
Yes,
right? That
yeah.
felt massive.
Yeah.
And another big memory, I think this one that made me feel great was when someone seeked out our agency and then found me and was like, you're the expert in tech. You're the person I want to deal with. I don't want to deal with this other agency that pitched me.
Right.
I want to deal with you. And they seeked us out.
Yeah.
And that was another huge memorable. I mean, there's a lot of personal don't get me wrong. There's so many awesome memories of us, the team, but this is about the agency.
Yes.
That's what this whole conversation is about. And again, the memories I have with you and the team outweigh all of these. Even fucking yesterday's was so fun with that escape room. It was so nerdy. I loved it. But I mean, business wise,
Yes,
these were
that's
some of
great.
the, and this was when you know what, it validated everything we did.
Yes.
Right. And it's just like now we're the experts.
Now this is,
You know?
yeah.
It felt really fucking cool.
That's absolutely awesome because you work so hard to get your name out there,
Yes.
right? And this is the kind of thing, and exactly like you said, it's personal relationships, it's customers for life, and this is kind of somebody's going to talk about you and say, "Oh, you know what you need?
Yeah.
You need these guys."
You need these guys.
Yes,
Yes. Absolutely.
That's where you want to be. That's the kind of shit.
Yeah,
that's like,
felt so good.
Yeah, totally. That's great.
So, okay, how about this? We're going to end this.
Okay.
The second episode, we are going to end this with my top 10 lessons for
Okay.
business.
All right.
Okay. And this is coming from a designer,
Yes.
not a business guy.
Yes.
Okay. So there's no business bullshit
But
here. Okay.
don't let him fool you. He is a business guy. He knows his shit.
Well, okay. maybe. Only from trial and error.
No.
Okay.
He does.
Lesson number 1.
Okay.
Clients for fucking life.
Yeah.
Okay. Lesson, work on making your client a rock star. And I'm not talking about the actual business, but the person you're dealing with. Because that person, that has been our biggest source of leads ever. We have never looked for business.
Nope.
That's why our website looks the way it does. Because it's just like, I don't want to put my shit out there because I'm too busy.
Fuck it. Who
with
cares?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? We keep our customers so happy. We help them grow. We help them excel within their
bigger things to do.
Right. And then they're like, fuck. They took us, they took me from like, an entry level marketing to the VP of marketing. And now I'm at a bigger company. I'm going to call them up and they're going to do the same, right?
Exactly.
We spend more time like helping our customers become rock stars in their businesses.
Yes.
That they take us along.
Yes.
So every client relationship, you got to make that customer your like priority
Yes.
to make them love working with you and everything about that relationship.
Totally. And this continues. Our little robot friend.
Yep,
He
absolutely.
moved, one of the marketing guy, I think it was. He moved on to another place, and it was just like, what's the first thing he does? I'm going to drag this fucking
Right, it's
awesome
like,
design agency
Yeah.
right along
with me, right?
to my new place.
We've worked
Holy
together. We've had
shit.
great success.
Yes.
Let's do it
Yeah,
again at
let's
another
do it
company,
again.
right?
Yes.
That's the biggest sign
Yes.
of like appreciation.
And that's one of those kind of things. It's like, not only do we get shit done.
Yep.
That's what we do. But I think we provide peace of mind to
Yeah.
people. You know
I
what
agree.
I mean? Like this is the kind of stuff where it's
'Cause they
like
can
I
rely
don't
on
want
us.
to worry about this kind of shit. I know these guys are they got my back. This is the kind of stuff
Yep.
where this is why people bring us along with what we're
Totally,
doing.
right?
Yes.
And they do. They can count on us,
Yeah,
right? Because
exactly.
customers need you to deliver.
That's
right.
exactly
They're not looking for perfection. They're
Yeah.
looking for delivering.
Yes.
Deliver something for fuck's
Exactly.
sakes.
Exactly.
So that's number 1. Number 2, always try to solve problems.
Mm-hmm.
Try to solve the customer's problems. Don't go in there and just do what you're told. That's right. Do what you're told. Keep them happy. Look for bigger problems to solve. We're designers. We're supposed to solve fucking problems.
Right.
I mean, that's how we got in this whole land and expand model, right? I believe in that, right? We got into BlackBerry, right? Not only did we go in and take care of the job that we were brought in for, but then we're just like, whoa, you guys got a bigger problem here.
Yes, there's other
I got a
issues.
solution
Right.
that I think can help.
Yes.
And we did. We dug deep and that fucking blew us up into that place, right?
Exactly.
So again, always look for problems to solve
Right.
in your customers' businesses.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Number 3,
Nice.
always be hustling. Always be hustling.
H.
ABH, baby. Always be looking,
Yeah.
keeping your eyes open, ears open. When you're
Yes.
talking to your customer, you can hear and listen for them to talk about a problem. That's how you know you can solve it, right? If you're not always hustling, that whole fucking opportunity can just fly right by
over.
you,
The
right?
devil is in the details.
Seriously,
right?
dude.
Yes,
Absolutely it
Exactly.
is.
Listen to what
Absolutely.
they're saying. Listen, big ears.
Yeah, right. That should be on here, but no, this is
No,
agency wise.
I think that's what you're talking about. though.
Well, all right. Number 4, okay? Sell your process, not the final product.
Right.
Okay? Because everybody's always thinking, well, again, in the experience, what's always made us different is people are always focusing on the final logo, the final brochure. And it's like, no. We've got a bigger process involved here. We listen, we ask questions, we dig deeper, we build something custom for you.
Right.
This is how we overcame all that offshore stuff, how we overcame the 99 design stuff, and how we still price ourselves today. We're not selling a final logo. We're selling everything, the process up to that logo. and then we sell the process after the logo. Okay.
Exactly.
So that little deliverable is just one small part of the bigger picture. Okay. So remember that, right? The profit is in the process, not in the final product. Okay.
Nice.
All right. Number 5. Okay. Create your own fucking luck. Okay. Seriously, create your own luck. I hate when people are like, you're fucking lucky. You're lucky. It's like, you're a fucking idiot if you think I'm lucky. Because luck is when, what is it? Opportunity meets preparation.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. It's like you have I'm the kind of person who's walking around looking up at the sky for that bag of gold to fall, because you got some idiots who are walking around looking forward, looking at their feet, looking at the people walking by them, and a fucking bag of gold could hit them in the head, and they wouldn't even know because they couldn't catch it. They weren't looking up.
Yes.
Okay. I'm the kind of person who's constantly looking up in the sky, one eye up, one eye forward, and my hands are out, and I am waiting for that bag of gold.
That's
right. Now, don't get me wrong. I've been kicked in the nuts many times while I'm looking up, but that's just part of the process, right? You have to be prepared to take opportunities. But if you spend every fucking dime you have, because you're partying, buying a new computer, buying new clothes, buying a new car, well, then when that opportunity comes to buy a list of customers from an agent, a web company that comes, when that opportunity comes, you can't take it.
Yeah.
Right? People are like, oh, well, you're lucky that came to you. It's like, dude, I had the fucking money to buy that.
Yes.
So I was saving my balls off for that money for this opportunity.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So again, you have to create your own luck, and people don't understand that, right? Luck doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Again, because you got to be ready for that thing.
That's exactly it. And there's a knowledge base that you're in this space, exactly kind of where this thing is going to go. You have to take a little bit of a little maybe just a little risk.
You do.
It's good. It's good,
dude.
right? But yes, always be looking up.
You always be looking up.
Focused on your feet,
dude. Even if you're lucky enough to win the fucking lottery, you still got to buy the ticket. How many fucking people are like, I wish I just won the lottery.
What did I think of that?
Did you buy a ticket? Did you even buy it? Well, no. What's the point? Well, then don't tell me you want to win the fucking lottery.
It's not luck. I did what I was supposed to do.
Number 6.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one we spoke a lot about this one. Embrace the land and expand model. Okay.
Love it.
No matter how big or small that customer is that you have, once you're in there, once you're into that company, whether it's a little cafe, a little restaurant, or a giant company, right? Find other ways to expand within that company.
Yes.
Find other ways you can help, other ways design can help, other ways you can help in that company, right?
Yeah.
Like literally, just because you got that one job, your job isn't done. Figure out how else you can kind of get your tentacles out like a fucking octopus and get all the areas of that company. Land and expand has grown us into every single company. We don't stop at that one job.
Nope.
Just because somebody gave us a data sheet job, well, then we're asking who's working on your presentations.
Yeah.
We can help on presentations.
Yeah.
What about your PowerPoints? What about your website? What about this? Once you're in there and you're starting to develop a relationship, expand into every corner of that business.
Big time. And there's plenty of opportunity to do that. So do it.
So do it.
Do it.
Number 7, make yourself indispensable. Okay.
Yes.
And again, become as sticky as possible. And this is not quite the same as land and expand, but land and expand leads to making yourself indispensable.
That's exactly it.
What happens, just like it did at BlackBerry, and again, ultimately, BlackBerry, we did get ejected, but it wasn't because of anything marketing-wise. The whole company went fucking to fuck.
Yeah.
But it still worked out. The thing is, you get deeper and deeper in the company that it becomes very hard for them to not keep you.
Yes.
Right? You're part of their company. You're part of their ecosystem.
Yeah.
You're someone that people there just now randomly will pick up the phone and call and contact for help, right? You got to figure out how to make yourself indispensable, whether that's leaving knickknacks all over the place there with your phone number, right? Whether it's constantly giving them free information, whether it's like offering to just show up at company picnics and getting to know the people, right? You got to make yourself indispensable to these companies so it makes it impossible for them to get rid of you.
Exactly. And going the extra mile with a client is always great too, right?
Always.
They're going to like, oh shit, these guys are, they're going to deliver what they said they were going to do, but also, hey, they expanded on that, and that's very cool. I like what they were thinking here. Yeah.
Number 8, make mistakes, but make them once. Okay? You have to always, okay, you can only learn by making mistakes.
This is true.
And this is how the first fucking 12, 15 years of this business worked, because you didn't know what other way to do it other than make mistakes.
Exactly.
But if I wouldn't learn from every one of those mistakes, if I didn't make every mistake a learning opportunity, right? I wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't be 25 years in business. We would have stopped at year 12, right?
Exactly.
Anytime you make a mistake, treat it as a learning opportunity and figure out how the hell not to do it again next time, right? So make mistakes, but just make them once.
Make them once.
All right?
That's right.
Number 9, perseverance.
Yep. There we go.
You need perseverance.
Stick it out.
Fuck, dude. Honestly, and I no matter what, like more than anything, and everybody says, what's the secret to running a business this long? It's perseverance. It's getting through it all.
Yes.
Because, if you give up, or you fall after the first like little, bump that you've, come across, dude. Poor me. Dude,
Yeah, poor me.
no
Fuck
business,
off.
right? Let alone this business is for you. Perseverance is a must for
Yeah,
any
it's
business
huge.
owner, right? Whether you're an agency owner, whether you're just a restaurant, whatever, you've got to get through all the tough times, and you have to keep pushing through.
Even if you're a graphic designer,
Yeah, 100%.
perseverance is number one.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Keep it going.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this is the thing.
So,
Yeah.
and last but not least, you have to be yourself and own it. And own it. If I had taken all that energy that I had trying to be what I thought other people wanted
still
me
be
to
wearing
be,
a suit.
from my parents to customers, dude, I would be. I don't even know where I'd be right now. I wouldn't be doing this.
This is true.
And I wouldn't be happy. Everything changed when I said, fuck it to the world. And I, took
following
down, I
this.
burned the suits.
Yep.
I put up that obnoxious, garage website with the flames and the trucker girls and the rigs. And, it looked like it was the fucking backdrop for a Kid Rock concert. Okay. And I was like, screw it. This is what we're going to
That's
do
where I
for now
am.
on. Right. And that was the day I never wore a suit after that. I was just like, this is who we are.
Yes.
And it has been nothing but uphill since that.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
embraced who I am. I embraced us, our individualism, and just grew it from there.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool too, because it kicks against the norm, what you would expect, right? Everybody thinks, and everybody thinks design is fucking Don Draper, and Mad Men and that kind of stuff, suits and
Yep,
that kind of
which
stuff.
is pretty cool.
It's
but
great. That's great, and that was the '60s. But this is a different time when we're
It's a very
talking
different
about.
time, right? And we're honestly authenticity now.
Yes,
more
is
important than
huge.
ever.
Yes.
And again, you're not going to be perfect for everybody.
That's right.
But you'll be perfect for the people that you want to attract.
That's exactly
and
it.
that's
Yes.
key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So more than anything, number 10, be yourself. Authenticity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So there's the Z Factor lessons for business.
Wow.
All right. 10 lessons. There's a lot there. I'm
great.
sorry I made this a 2-part episode. Holy shit. But I am so fucking passionate about what we've built, what we have, our customers, our philosophies.
It says a lot in this space to be 25 years. It's
kinda
and
shocking,
going strong.
dude. Yeah.
Going
And going
as
strong.
as ever.
Stronger than ever. Yeah,
than
you're
ever,
right. You're
even.
right,
Yes.
actually.
Which is good. And we've given examples of how many have fallen in the wake of.
So true.
There's a lot of agencies
So true.
that bit the dust, but
So true.
you made it work, man.
We made it. And again,
Yeah.
I'm not going to shy away from saying I owe a lot to you, the team, 100%. Because I without the team, without the awesome group yesterday, I even said yesterday, even when I went home and I was talking to my wife, I was like, I couldn't have solved that puzzle, in that escape room with anybody else other than the
those
people
guys.
I was there with,
Exactly.
because it was such an amazing team. And again, you need that. That's probably a really good lesson. Actually, that's probably that should have been the most important part: is surround yourself with awesome people that you love to see on a regular basis.
There's no, and this is the kind of stuff is like this is not created in a vacuum, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people involved that make this
so true. So
work.
true.
But I would say the key is leadership, and I think that's the kind of thing. It's
But then that's putting it on me, and I don't want to do that either. Let's just leave it at that. You guys, that's what I'm happy enough with you guys.
Stay tuned for my podcast on leadership. Then I'm going solo, the Angry Designer.
Too late, Sean. It's called the Angry Designer Podcast. Too
It
bad.
is the angry designer anyway. Damn it.
Damn it.
Sean Designer. I don't know. I to be determined the name.
So, I hope this hasn't been too painful. It's been a double episode. I'm really sorry, but I think that there's a lot to have said, and I'm really proud what we've all done.
You've done a great thing. This is
fun.
Again, it's an amazing feat.
Which is fun, right?
Good for such an old fucking guy.
Oh, I'm not old. Does this look old, guys? Go visit the YouTube channel and be like, that guy does not look old. Not old for the record. Totally not
old. 50.
No, we don't speak at
Oh, we don't.
43 for the 7th year, dude. For the 7th fucking year.
I forgot. Yeah, that's
43 for the 7th year. So listen, by all means, guys, if you like this, give us a thumbs up, say, hey, I like this, leave us a review somewhere, share us with anybody, who has a business, because I think a lot of these ideas don't even need to apply to just agencies, but, whether you're a freelancer or an agency, I think there's lots here that hopefully can help inspire everybody else moving forward.
Totally.
I hope, anyway.
Yeah. Man, that was awesome.
All right, buddy.
Woo!
Well, happy birthday to Zed Factor.
And happy birthday to you.
No, that's tomorrow. But
Everybody
thanks,
wish
buddy.
Moss a
Thanks,
happy
buddy.
birthday.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for continually to listen to this podcast. Because honestly, this has been some of my highest moments.
Yes.
Over the past 25 years.
I'm
is
surprised
this
that's
podcast.
not on the list. Maybe that's number 11.
Well, that's
highs.
definitely a huge high.
Yeah.
Is this podcast. But
Exactly.
again, this podcast is barely starting. Are you kidding?
Yeah,
We got
well,
a long way to go, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of things hopefully planned. But it's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
take it all in, everybody. Take it all in.
Yes. Enjoy it.
All right, everybody. My name's Massimo.
My name's Sean.
Stay creative.
Stay angry.
Peace.